I was 16 years old when my mother looked me in the eye and sold me like a bag of Gary. Let me say that again so you understand the wickedness. My own mother, the woman who carried me for 9 months, who I called mommy every single day of my life, handed me over to a complete stranger to settle her gambling debt. The day it happened, I was in our small room in Ajigono, folding the clothes I had washed that morning, humming along to a song playing from our neighbor's radio. I didn't know my life was about to shatter into pieces I would spend years trying to put back together. Adana, come here, Mama called from the corridor. Her voice had that edge to it, the one she used when she'd been drinking ogogoro at Mama Chidi's shop. I wiped my wet hands on my wrapper and went outside. A woman stood beside my mother. Tall, light-skinned, wearing an Ankara dress that probably cost more than our 6 months' rent. Gold hoops swung from her ears, and her perfume was so strong it made my nose itch. She looked me up and down like I was meat at Alaba Market. This is Madam Veronica, Mama said, avoiding my eyes. You will go with her tonight. She will take care of you. My stomach dropped. Mama, wetin you dey talk? Go where? I no understand. Adana, abeg don't start your waller for me this evening. Mama's voice was sharp, desperate. This woman go help us. She go give you job, you go chop good food, sleep for better place. I don't want to go anywhere. Panic was rising in my chest like flood water. Mama, wetin dey happen? Which kind job? That's when Madam Vero smiled. Her teeth were perfect, white, but the smile never reached her eyes. Your mother owes someone a lot of money, my dear. Money wey if she no pay, it go cost her more than money. She paused, letting that sink in. I am offering her a solution. You come work for me for 2 years. Housegirl work, nothing bad. After 2 years, debt cleared, and you even collect small money for yourself. I looked at my mother. Really looked at her. And what I saw in her face broke something inside me that has never fully healed. Shame, yes. Guilt, maybe. But also relief. She was relieved to be giving me away. Mama. My voice cracked. Mama, I beg. I dey beg you. Make we find another way. I fit hawk pure water, I fit do anything, Adana, enough. She grabbed my arm, her fingers digging into my skin. You think say I want this? You think say this life sweet me? Sometimes we no get choice. Pack your things. You dey go tonight. I didn't know it then, but my mother had been gambling at an illegal betting house in Boundary, losing money she borrowed from a loan shark connected to area boys who didn't play. When she couldn't pay, they gave her 1 week. Madam Vero appeared like an angel, or so my mother thought. The woman had a reputation for helping families in debt by taking their daughters. Where those daughters went, nobody asked too many questions. That night, I packed my few belongings into one Ghana Moscow bag, 3 wrappers, 2 blouses, my slippers, and the small Bible my father gave me before he died when I was 8. As I zipped up the bag, my mother stood at the door watching. For a moment, I thought she would change her mind. Tell Madam Vero to leave. Choose her daughter over her debt. She didn't. Adana, she said softly, and I hated how my name sounded in her mouth. When things better, I go find you. I looked at her one last time. If I ever see you again, Mama, I no know wetin I go do. Then I walked out into the night with a stranger, leaving behind the only home I had ever known. Madam Vero's house was in Surulere, a 3-bedroom flat that smelled of money and secrets. But I wasn't there to enjoy any comfort. That first morning, she woke me at 4:30 a.m. You will wash all the clothes in that basket. Scrub the floors. Clean the toilets. Cook breakfast, lunch, and dinner. If you do anything stupid, run away, cause trouble, talk too much, I have people who will find you and deal with you properly. You understand? I understood. I was trapped. For 6 months, I worked like a slave. My hands became rough, my back ached constantly, and I cried myself to sleep every night on the thin mat in the boys' quarters. But something was happening inside me during those months. The tears were drying up, replaced by something harder. Anger. Determination. A voice in my head that kept whispering, "This will not be your story. You will not die here." Madam Vero had other girls working for her scattered across Lagos. I learned she was a middlewoman. She took girls from poor families, used them as house girls, then either kept them or sold them to richer people who needed domestic help. Some girls, the prettier ones, she sent to her friends for other purposes. When I realized what could have happened to me, I made a decision. I would escape. But not stupid, not running blindly into the night. I would escape smart. I started paying attention. Where Madam Vero kept her money. Who visited the house. The patterns of the gatemen's movements. And most importantly, I started listening when she and her friends talked, thinking I was too stupid to understand their business conversations. That's how I learned about her upcoming event, a big society wedding she was catering. She needed extra hands, and I volunteered eagerly, playing the obedient housegirl role perfectly. The wedding was at Oriental Hotel in 6. I had never seen such wealth in my life. As I served small chops to guests dripping in gold and designer clothes, I watched. I learned. I absorbed everything. One of the guests was a woman named Mrs. Adebayo, a businesswoman who owned a small catering company. She was kind, asking my name, noticing when I worked efficiently. When I accidentally spilled juice near her table and apologized profusely, she smiled. "You're a smart girl. I can see it in your eyes. Are you happy working for Veronica?" I wanted to scream the truth. Instead, I smiled and said, "I dey manage, more." She handed me her business card. "If you ever need anything, call me." I hid that card in my bra like it was pure gold. 2 weeks later, I made my move. Madam Vero was traveling to Abuja for 3 days. The gateman was lazy, always sleeping by 10 p.m. I had been saving every kobo I could find, money I picked from the floor, coins guests dropped, small notes Madam Vero's visitors sometimes tipped. I had 2,340 Nigerian nairas. Not enough for anything, but it was mine. That night, I climbed over the fence, tearing my wrapper in the process, and ran. I didn't stop running until I reached the bus stop, where I boarded a Danfo to Yoba. My plan was simple: find Mrs. Adebayo, beg her for help, and never look back. Mrs. Adebayo didn't just help me, she changed my life. When I showed up at her office in Sebo, dirty, terrified, and begging, she could have turned me away. Instead, she listened to my story, gave me food, and let me sleep on the couch in her office. "Adana, I'm going to help you," she said the next morning. "But you will work. Nothing in life is free. You understand?" "Yes, Ma. I will work hard. I promise." And I did. For 2 years, I worked for Mrs. Adebayo like my life depended on it, because it did. I started as her assistant, learning catering from the ground up. How to cook for 50 people, 400 people. How to price food, deal with customers, manage time. How to run a business. But I wasn't satisfied with just being an assistant. Every night after work, I would go to a friend's shop where she let me use her phone to watch YouTube videos on baking, catering, business management. I read every business book I could borrow. I studied successful Nigerian women entrepreneurs. I asked questions. I took notes. Mrs. Adebayo noticed. "Adana, you're not just working. You're planning something." "Yes, Ma," I admitted. "One day, I want my own business. I want to be like you." She smiled. "Then let me teach you properly." For the next year, Mrs. Adebayo mentored me intentionally. She showed me her supplier networks, taught me how to bid for big contracts, explained profit margins and business registration. She even helped me save money, opening a bank account for me and making sure I put aside a percentage of my small salary every month. By the time I was 20, I had saved 150,000 Nigerian nairas, learned everything I could about catering, and had a plan. Mrs. Adebayo loaned me 200,000 Nigerian nairas. She said I could pay back slowly, no pressure. With that money, I registered my own small catering business, Adana Delights. It wasn't easy. My first year, I struggled. I made mistakes, lost money on some jobs, cried when contracts fell through. But I never gave up. I hustled like someone running from death itself. I took on small parties, naming ceremonies, small office events. I delivered excellent food and excellent service. Slowly, my reputation grew. By 23, I was catering for 2 weddings every month. By 25, I had 3 staff members and a small shop in Ikeja. By 27, I had moved to a bigger location, had 12 staff, and was catering for some of Lagos' biggest parties. And through all of it, I never forgot where I came from. Or who put me there. It took me 11 years, but I finally went back to Ajigona. Not because I wanted to, because I needed to close that chapter properly. I drove my Honda Accord, bought with my own money, through those familiar streets, now looking smaller, dirtier than I remembered. Children played in muddy water, women argued over prices at the market, men gambled at street corners. I had escaped this. But part of me would always belong here. I found Mama in the same compound, in the same room. But she had aged terribly. Her face was hollow, her eyes sunken. Sickness had eaten away at the woman she used to be. When she saw me standing at her door, dressed in good clothes, healthy, successful, she started crying. Adana, my daughter. You came back. I felt nothing. That scared me. I thought I would feel anger, rage, the desire for revenge. Instead, I just felt empty. Why did you do it, Mama? My voice was calm, cold. Why did you sell your own child? She wept, her thin body shaking. I was desperate. They would have killed me. I thought Madam Vero would give you a better life than I could. I thought you didn't think. I cut her off. You were a coward. You chose yourself over me. I'm sorry. Adana, I'm so sorry. I have been suffering since that day. I tried to find you, but I didn't know where. You didn't look hard enough. I felt something cracking inside me, but I couldn't tell if it was my hardness breaking or my heart breaking all over again. Do you know what could have happened to me? Do you know what Madam Vero does to some of those girls? She covered her face with her hands. I know. I know now. Somebody told me after you ran away. I have been praying, asking God to forgive me. God's forgiveness is between you and Him, I said. But you need to hear this. I survived. Not because of you, but in spite of you. I built something from nothing. I am somebody now. And you will never have any part of it. I turned to leave, but her voice stopped me. Adana, please. I am sick. I have no money for hospital. I am dying. And there it was. Even now, at the end, she wanted something from me. I reached into my bag and brought out an envelope. Inside was 50,000 Nigerian nairas. I placed it on her table. This is not because I forgive you, I said. This is because I am not you. I am better than you. Use it for your hospital bills. But after today, we are done. Completely. I walked out of that compound and got into my car. As I drove away, I looked in the rearview mirror and saw her standing there, crying. I felt tears on my own cheeks, but they weren't for her. They were for that 16-year-old girl who was sold like she was worthless. For all the pain she endured. For all the nights she cried herself to sleep. But they were also tears of pride. Because that girl didn't just survive. She won. Today, Adana Delights is one of the most sought-after catering companies in Lagos. I have a staff of 35. I own my own house in Lekki. I drive a good car. I employ young girls from places like Ajigono, giving them opportunities nobody gave me. I pay them well, train them properly, and treat them with dignity. Last month, Mrs. Adibeo came to my office. She's retired now, living comfortably. She looked around at what I had built and smiled. I knew you would make it, she said. From that first day you showed up at my door, I saw the fire in you. You saved my life, Mo, I told her, my voice thick with emotion. No, Adana. I just gave you a chance. You saved yourself. She's right. Nobody saved me. I saved myself. I took every betrayal, every pain, every tear, and I used it as fuel. My mother thought she was throwing me away, but she actually set me free. Some people say I should forgive her completely, let go of the anger. Maybe they're right. Maybe one day I will. But for now, I hold on to this truth: she broke me, yes. But I rebuilt myself into something stronger than she could ever imagine. My name is Adana Okafor. I am 29 years old. I am a successful businesswoman. I am a survivor. And I am nobody's victim. Not anymore. Never again.